Mr. Frank Morrison, Councillor for District 6 and Director for the New Waterford Wellness Committee. We are grateful to have Frankie with us today as he had an unfortunate accident yesterday. Mr. Al Stretch, representing Turf Masters Landscaping Limited. Ms. Susan Coombs, Director, New Waterford Wellness Committee. Mr. Ambrose White, Vice Chair, New Waterford Wellness Committee. And Mr. Art Timmons, coach of our honorary teams. As well, I would like to introduce some people in the audience who are with us for this event. Mr. Jim McLeod, Deputy Mayor. Mr. Jim Kavanagh, former principal of Breton Education Center. Mr. Bozo Steele, a former athlete from New Waterford, who is our photographer for the day. John Dalton, President of Soccer Cape Breton. Mary Lou Andrea, phys ed consultant with the Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board. And Mr. Brian Spencer, who is our new principal at Breton Education Center. I would now like to call on Mr. Lowell Cormier, Chair of the Wellness Committee, to say a few words.
Thank you, Lorraine. Platform guests, honored soccer teams, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's an honor for me as the chair of the New Waterford Wellness Committee to be standing before you today. When I was brainstorming on how to start this speech, I thought of the statement, if you build it, they will come. But then I thought of another, probably more appropriate one. Frankie Morrison had a dream. It was almost 2 years ago to the day that Frankie approached me in my classroom and asked me if I would help him in an effort to put a committee together to try and put a project together for New Waterford, which would include an artificial turf soccer field. A couple of weeks later, we met in that soccer building with 20 concerned citizens, and a committee was formed. That committee is one of the finest committees that I've ever worked on, because this thing, as you know, just did not happen. We didn't snap our fingers and all of a sudden we had funding for a soccer field. I would like to highlight some of the committee who are with us today. Our vice chair is Ambrose White. He's the principal of Greenfield. He's the president of New Waterford Tennis Association, and he's a former St. FX soccer star. Our treasurer called me on the cell phone about 15 minutes ago. He's in a dilemma. He's going to be here, but he got held up. No, he just got here. Great. It's good to see you, Sandy. Sandy is the president of New Waterford Minor Soccer. He's a former leading scorer of the St. FX X-Men, and he's now the coach of our Beck boys soccer team. Our secretary, Lorraine Shepherd, who's doing a wonderful job as MC today. Lorraine is co-chair of Cobalt and a teacher at Beck. One of our directors, Susan Coombs, is the recreation programmer for New Waterford and Dominion. She is the organized person on the committee. She keeps us pointed in the right direction. New Waterford is fortunate to have a person of Susan's caliber working in the community. And last but not least, Frank Morrison, District 6 Councillor, the man who dared to dream. Well, as I said earlier, we came up with a plan. But guess what? The plan didn't work. But we didn't quit. We went to plan B, which was the soccer field. A lot of people have helped, and I'm going to make an analogy. Our committee is like the management of a football team. Now, everyone knows that the most important position on a football team is the quarterback. So we recruited Mr. Mark Eiking, and he's obviously a great quarterback. Take a look at what's happening in New Waterford in the past year. The downtown redevelopment, this deluxe soccer facility, and to top it all off, the call center. Now, by nature, Mark's a conservative quarterback. So therefore, he established a running game first. And he handed the ball to the best ground gainer in the province, Rick Beaton. Mr. Beaton quickly scored a touchdown, landing $455,000 from the Strategic Community Investment Fund. The committee is indebted to Mr. Beaton and Mr. Eiking for having the confidence in the committee and the community of New Waterford to act as advocates for our project. We can't thank them enough for delivering the federal money first. Thank you. Now, football is a terribly long game. We still needed another touchdown. Mr. Eiking decides to go with an aerial attack. Enter wide receiver Frankie Morrison. Frankie caught a Hail Mary pass from Mr. Eiking for a touchdown in April, as council approved $425,000 towards this project. Frankie's heart and soul, and maybe a little bit of his thumb, is in this soccer project. His efforts have been unbelievable, and I can't tell you the number of phone calls that I receive from Frankie. At least 4 or 5 a day, and they would always start off with, "Lowell," and you know Frankie can get quite excited, but then again, who am I to talk? He would tell me, "I got this, and I'm going to get that," and never did I doubt him. But you know, I got the strangest phone call yesterday. Frankie had an accident about 11 o'clock, and he went to the emergency at the hospital. I found out about it at 11:10. I went up to check on him. By that time, he was gone to Dr. Orrell's office, and he was going to be scheduled for surgery. So I called his place at 12:30 to talk to Debbie to see how he was doing. She wasn't home, so I just said I'd pick it up later, I guess. I went to school, and at 1:45, my phone rang. "Lowell, here's the guy on IV sneaking into an office at the hospital, and he's calling me for me to find somebody to look after putting the gates up." So I think that sums up Frankie Morrison's involvement. The community owes them a huge vote of thanks. This man has delivered. On behalf of the Wellness Committee, I want to publicly thank the Mayor and Council for supporting this project. Without their support, we would not be here today.
I say.
But then, after landing the money, the committee was in a dilemma. Sometimes, you know, you've got to be careful what you wish for. So we got what we wished for, but now we needed somebody to manage the project, to manage the construction part of the project. Bill designed the tender with all the specs, and he oversaw all of the construction. The committee would have been lost without Bill. We would have been out of our league. The layout and finished product is largely due to Bill. The CBRM is fortunate to have a manager with Bill's expertise. The committee would like to offer our sincere thanks to Bill for a job well done. Thank you, Bill. Throughout this project, we've had lots of help. New Era was a big booster since the beginning, offering encouragement and financial support. Our community liaison committee, some of whom are here today, helped drum up interest in the community and aided us with our presentation to ECBC. It is nice to see so many of them here today. But you can't construct a project of this magnitude in a vacuum. We received a lot of advice along the way. Various CBRM departments and employees, including Public Works and Engineering under Kevin McDonald, the Accounting Department, the East Division Operations, and Supervisor Ron McDonald, the Parks and Grounds, the Maintenance Foreman, Lloyd McLeod, all these people and many more other departments have gone out of their way to help us. The committee is most appreciative. But now, what about the product? And by the way, the lights will be installed within 10 days. This product, called Field Turf, is the best product on the market. It's the same field as the Seattle Seahawks and the Tropicana field in Florida. It looks like, it feels like, and it plays like grass. Turf Masters Landscaping from Muscadabat were the major contractors. The committee is very pleased. They did an outstanding job. Al Stretch, the president of the company, is here, along with Paul Howard, his wife Sharon, and Al's son Todd. So they're down for the opening today. It's nice to see the honored teams. They represent a rich tradition of soccer in Waterford. Some of the men would have played mostly on dirt fields. Rocks and boulders would be a better way to describe the fields. The women who are a little younger played on the Beck field. Rough grass would be a very good way to describe that field. These teams are a few of the many teams from the Waterford that won provincial titles. The teams from Mount Carmel, St. Agnes and Central, and then Beck with 9 provincial Division I championships, 6 boys and 3 for the girls. That's a high school record that's never going to be beaten. I still can't believe that we have this facility in the CBRM today. And I go back to 15 years ago. When Gary McDonald and I were standing over there, and we were looking at the McKinnon field, and the goal areas were wearing, and Gary was saying to me, maybe some year we can get AstroTurf in there. So we were sort of dreaming, but I'm sure Gary is smiling on us now. This field is the crown jewel as this Cape Breton soccer community bids for national tournaments. When combined with the national caliber grass fields of McKinnon Field, UCCB, and Coast Guard, it sets up the soccer community for hosting tournaments. The economic spin-offs will be felt throughout the CBRM. And it's nice to see the 16 under selects team here today. They are how you doing, girls? They are heading off to Surrey, BC. Maybe in the near future these girls could represent the province at the Nationals again. Only this time it could be in Cape Breton. In closing, one final heartfelt thank you to all involved. By working together, we've brought a world-class sports facility to the Cape Breton Regional Municipality. This is our field of dreams. Thank you.
Lowell mentioned everyone else, I think, in his speech, but he didn't really mention himself. And I have to tell you that Lowell was one of, if not the driving force, in the committee. He is one of the most tenacious men I've ever met in my life. When he gets something in his head, he never gives it up. Thank you, Lowell. Mr. Rick Beaton Brown, Vice President of Enterprise Cape Breton Corporation, also played a crucial role in securing funding, which eventually came from the Strategic Community Investment Fund. Mr. Beaton.
Do you want me to take it for a minute?
Yes.
Oh, I can't.
To attest to Ms. Shepherd's comments regarding Lower Cormier,
Oh, yeah.
I can say without hesitation that in my 30 years in business in the economic development field, I've never seen more tenacity, desire, or heartfelt intent to do something for the community than Lower Cormier. I can remember it's a little over a year ago, Lowell, when he said, would you meet with the wellness group? And it was that Sunday afternoon, and the passion was there. It was there not only for Lowell, but for the whole community. And that continued, and he came up with a project collective with other individuals, and this is what you have today. I very much admire the man. He puts together a good proposal, and he also delivers. Other thing from an Enterprise Cape Breton standpoint is the fact that 2 years ago, this December, we would have had a meeting, I believe it was at the Caramel Center, with